Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is Ancestory. $14.99 comes out on the Steam store today. It is a card and strategy game developed by Kaijack Games. Now, before I begin this review, I want to make sure you guys know this key was obtained from the developer for the purposes of reviewing this game critically. That won't change my opinions in the end, but you guys should know that for the purposes of FTC guidelines, as well as the whole morals thing, you know? So, let's get right into it. Let's play a single player game. We will play on the map Battlefield. There are a couple of different maps, but they all play relatively the same. I am level 8. I have got 16,047 experience. That's about, I want to say, 20 matches at this point under my belt, I want to say. You gain experiences as you summon cards, things like that. Play against enemies, attack them, so on and so forth. Play with a custom deck, of course, and we're going to get right into the battle with the AI. Now, I have not played a lot of the multiplayer in question. In fact, none of it. I did try to play for a game, but the user base isn't there at this point, mostly because, well, this is pre-release. Alright, this is my opening hand. In my opening hand, I can choose the cards that I keep. I'm going to actually discard Ancestory because I got a 5 mana cost here. I got a 3 mana cost. Actually, I don't like Kaliki, but I'm going to have to summon her anyway, most likely. So, I will replace the card with Ancestory. Okay, thank you, game. Thank you for giving me the exact same card I discarded. Alright. This is the battlefield. These are totems. You want totems because they will get you points. First to 60 points wins. This is your shaman. Your shaman is your mobile base. Basically, your shaman can move, but he will summon creatures around him. Now, I'm going to move him towards a totem to start getting points. I will also summon Maddie. Now, Maddie's a little bit special from everybody else. So you see these two creatures, they don't have any special abilities. Maddie does. He can attack and move after spawning. He doesn't have any summoning sickness. So, get Maddie, move him into the location of the totem. And end my turn. Capture the totem, I get a point. For every turn that ends that you have that totem in your sort of arsenal, you get a point. So, now it's 2-1 instead of 1-1. It counts on both players' turns. Alright, so, each creature has a set of stats to him. First is his attack power, as you see in the red sword there. 3 for Seppo. The arrow, or the bow and arrow, is the amount of spaces he can attack from. So, being a swordman or a hammerman here, he can only attack one space around him. But a creature like, let's say, I don't know, a bowsman may have 4 spaces that they can attack from. Alright, I'm going to move Seppo over here. I'm going to summon Seppo over here. While I'm going to start moving Maddie over to take some of these other totems. Now, the totem mechanic is what sort of uniquely identifies this game, and I like it. In particular, movement does make a difference. Field control is huge. The fact of the matter is that you have to get into a situation where, hey, guess what? My creature's going to have to, be able to protect the totems in question, but sort of stop other people from taking them as well. There are nice little choke points that you could stop creatures from moving in, but, the best way of dealing with these creatures is just to smack them in the face. Like this. Now, if a creature can attack you from where you're attacking from, they will counterattack. So, my hammer guy did take a little bit of damage, but I will take this totem over at the end of the turn. Again, the ebb and flow of battle here, it is rather important that I get that totem up and running so that I get more points. Alright, move Maddie over here to take over that totem. Now, again, there is deck building, so this is a unique deck that I've built. I will get into the deck building later on because I think it's one of the weaknesses of the game, unfortunately. Alright, so he's going to move the guys over. Now, remember how I said shamans are rather important? You see, shamans have 20 health. They can't attack, but why is that rather important? Well, if you take out the enemy shaman, you get 10 points. 10 points. That can be the difference between a huge win and a barely able to lose situation. So, keeping your shaman out of harm's way while still using him as sort of a piece to like lure enemies with is rather important. Can I cast Berserk? I'm gonna cast Berserk on oh god, I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. Just because I had the mana to deal with that.
We have captured a totem.
All right, so I like the win conditions, I like the totems, and I like the fact that there's an emphasis on your mobile base. The fact of the matter is that if your shaman goes down, he will respawn over here, but he may be out of the way and exactly where you don't want him. So you got to be rather cautious on where you put your shaman, because right now my shaman's going to take 6 damage a turn at this point. I got to get him out of here. Even though they're going to take the totem, I realize that, okay, I don't have the numbers for this. So I'm going to summon Ancestory. I should have probably summoned Joanna just to draw another card, but I'll do that next turn.
What now?
Now, let's get
I might be old.
Effie or Matty over here. I want to get that totem at this point.
We have lost a totem.
Ah, God, meteorite.
I'm getting too
Smart move. So now I'm not going to be able to take that totem because he used the spell to deal with him. All right. But he lost both of his creatures because he attacked, so that was silly of him. All right, let us use that to our advantage by moving our creatures. So I'm going to have Kuji attack their shaman. Now, one thing to note, and one thing I'm really annoyed by this game by, I've gone with Kaluji. These two creatures I haven't done anything with. See any UI difference? No, there isn't. That's a big problem. Seeing who can go is a rather big staple of this series of a strategy game. The fact that I can't see it on first glance means that I got to click through every creature. Why should I have to do that? That just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't understand why that implementation isn't there, and unfortunately it drags the game down because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to not implement for this. Ooh, good. That was actually rather important at this point because now Maddie can actually get that totem this turn. Unique abilities, woo. So he did. So he summoned. Who did he summon here? Ah, well, I don't really care at this point. So, well, let's get you out of the way first. Let's get you out of the way. Oh, I don't have enough movement. Well, shit. That's a little bit facetious. Like it's hard to see at times where you can move and where you can't. Like you'll notice here, like the edge of the boundary doesn't go up to this portion. I believe that's because he is on there. Let's see here. Yeah, I see. That could be a little bit misleading in terms of the UI elements on there. All right, let's get some damage on their creatures. Let's move you out of the way because I want to meteorite that, taking out their creature and dealing a little bit more damage in the process. Again, shaman's rather important. One of the downsides of the game, unfortunately, is the fact that in terms of single player, AI is stupid. AI will make a lot of stupid movements in terms of he'll move back and forth at times, and I don't think the AI is very particular in terms of some of the skills in question. You saw earlier in the match he made a very good move by making sure that this creature wasn't able to take this totem, but that's rarer than I feel like it should be. And there are no AI like levels, so you can't play against higher levels. In games like this, I think that's rather important when you have a multi-player aspect to it. All right, they summon another creature. Let's see here. He's got a lot of health, but
I have much to learn.
I'm just not going to deal with him. I'm going to go for the shaman, get those extra points. Summon another Joanna here. Summon me too. Move Jody here. Now I do want to take a look at the aesthetic very quickly here. So the aesthetic is interesting. I like the tribal element of it, and I like the use of lighting in terms of the neon coloring. It does give the game a unique feel. It feels ethereal. It is a little bit simplistic in the art style, but I feel it works for this. And especially at a top-down level, it gives enough detail to make the creatures look apart without necessarily doing a whole hell of a lot in order to do that. Alright, he is almost dead. I like that. So their shaman is pretty much at death's door. There have been some bugs I've run into. The game has crashed on me once. I have ran into a situation that I've given to the developers in terms of my creatures weren't able to move anymore. So they fixed that one, apparently. I have not been able to test it. The fix just came out like 5 minutes ago. But keep that in mind, you may run into problems. I've had actually Unreal 4 engine, which I think this game is made in, crash. So, yeah, a little bit of a detail there. Hey, guess what? Your shaman's dead.
You can have my axe.
See how I went from 33 to 43? I wish you gave like a plus 10 there to really say, oh, you actually did something. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of combat and you start combat with 11 health and you immediately attack somebody with him, it immediately subtracts the point off of it. And you're like, wait, did that do any damage? It did. It just didn't seem like it did. All right, let's get you over here. Poison you. Or, I'm sorry, do some damage to you. Some creatures do have skills. Like, for example... actually, that was the creature... I don't actually have an Elder out yet. Elder Joanna I will summon this turn to show you guys that.
How can I
Just
help?
trying to think of what is my best move here.
What is it?
The ancestry.
Move my shaman over here. Move.
Anybody call for a carpenter?
Actually, I think I'm good for this turn. Yeah, seizure-inducing lights. All right, there's no lore behind this. I'm really disappointed because I mean, again, you got the shaman element to it. You got this, mystical element to it. It would have gone a long way just to provide that at a basic level, but no card information, nothing like that. That really hurts the game in the long run, in my opinion. All right, so their shaman is over there. I'm gonna want to put pressure on him. Let's move you to here. Let's move you to here, and hopefully I can poison this creature. So now he's got a poison status. He'll lose 3 health per turn.
Wisdom.
The strategy is good. The problem the game majorly has, and it's the reason why I can't necessarily recommend the game at this time, is that there is a lack of cards. Now, in games like this, where you have a deck building mechanic, the real draw is to, make your own decks and, really customize your conditions in terms of, what kind of strategy you want to play. You want to play defensive, offensive, you want to go for status-inducing, things like that. In this game, the number of cards that are available, even at the start, but even as you unlock cards, they're low. There's not a lot of strategies you can implement, and in particular, creatures, there's not a lot of specialized creatures as well. Like, okay, you have creatures that are specialized for dealing damage as opposed to, maybe movement a little bit more, but there's not a lot to work with, and that's huge for a game like this. I don't understand why they decided to go this way in terms of they will be having free content updates, but those free content updates, it needed more content now. It would have been great, okay, an expansion pack. They've talked about, having expansion packs in the future. It just doesn't have the variety here in order to really sell the fact that this game is going to be replayable over time. The fact is that these first several matches have felt the same. They haven't played out rather differently, and unfortunately, that's huge in an online multiplayer portion of the game in question. It's problematic, and it's sad because I feel like it was this close to getting to that point, and as content is released for it, I feel like it's going to do a better job with that. It's going to do a little bit more with what it wants to do with the overall game in question. But right now, there's just not enough customization, and that's a huge problem. Now, I did win the game in question here. Cool, gained experience, so on and so forth. Let me take you into that deck building mechanic here. So, I have a deck builder. Make a new deck. New deck plus. Okay, so we got 6, 12, 18, 20 creatures. You see, that's to me that's way too low to start an expand or to start a game like this with. Especially when, like, okay, you've got, you know, a couple of 5-level creatures, but like especially early on, you don't really have a lot of choices up until you get the level 3 manas. Like, I want to see more level 1s. Like, there's not. I feel like I have to choose Maddie to have a level 1 creature. That's it. There's no other choice there. That really hurts the game in the long run. And I feel like even though you'll have fun with the first 2 games, like after the 3rd game, you're like, I'm doing the exact same thing. Spells are the same thing. 6, 12, 18, 20, or 4, 26. And I haven't even been able to unlock Possess yet. So, again, that's about 40, 50 cards in all. I don't think that does the job. So, unfortunately, that's where I have to leave this game in terms of my opinion. I feel like the core game has got some cool mechanics to it. I feel like the game has some interesting mechanics to it. The totem mechanic, the shaman mechanic, rather nice. But in the end, can I recommend this at $15 right now? I can't. When there's so little customization going on here for a card game, I feel like that's one of the strengths that you bring to the table when you're a card game. And unfortunately, Ancestory, or Ancestory, I'm sorry, doesn't have that at this point. Alright, this is Dragnix signing out. I hope you guys got an idea of exactly what this game has to offer. I will probably revisit this game after it gets more content, because again, I wanted to emphasize that. I feel like the game's core is good, it just needs more and more. Granted, technical issues, I want to see some of these UI problems fixed, but overall, it's not a recommendation at this time. Alright, I will leave my review in the description below. Again, like, comment, subscribe, trying to make a career of this, and I will see you all later. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you may want to hit that subscribe button on the left hand side. If you like this video and want to see more of this content, take a look at this video on the left hand side as well. And if you missed my last video, take a look at the right hand side. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.